Sometime around there, yeah.
And then Canada was shortly after that.
Yeah, when did it officially become a country? Like,
Well, it became Canada in like 1867 or something like that. But like they were here a lot earlier than that.
yeah.
It's just that's what it became Canada, what it is now.
Oh, it's French. Cool. It does have a bit of a mound shape coming out of it, so it is.
On our heads.
Right.
Oh, sorry. 3:30. But yes, come on in.
Thank you.
Welcome. Have you folks ever been here before?
No.
No. Okay. A little bit of context about what you've just walked into.
Okay, perfect.
So you've come back almost 200 years.
Perfect.
To 1851 to a Hudson's Bay Company fur trading port. All of the furs that we trade for here at Lower Fort Garry, they're going to go up north to York Factory on the Hudson's Bay. Then they get sent on a big boat to England where they get made into a whole bunch of stuff.
And what was the travel time for that? How long does it take?
4 months there and like 2 months back.
Okay, wow.
But yeah,
Opposite. It's faster there.
2 months. Sorry, yeah, 2 months there, 4 months back.
Okay.
Because of the current.
Oh, right.
But yes, so everyone who works for the Hudson's Bay Company long term, the men who are making that trip, blacksmiths, boat builders, whoever, as part of their contracts, they get rations of food, as well as
Has a little bit of pay?
They get a whole bunch of stuff. They get salary.
Okay.
They get rations of food. They get clothing. They get a place to live. They get whiskey and rum rations, which is by far the best part of that deal.
Seems like they had a better life then than we do now.
Wouldn't lay bets on that.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. There's a reason they pay well. Because, I mean, you also have to make all your food, right? That's why you're getting rations of food, is because you don't have time to go farming and making a trip up north.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, this is where those rations of food would be grown. So, Alexander Lilly is what we call a farm manager. So, he's in charge of our experimental farm. It's experimental in that no one has tried European agriculture on this scale here in Western Canada previously.
Okay.
So, we don't know how it's going to go. We don't know what tools we need. We don't know the seasons. The weather is pretty different from Scotland most days. Today, maybe not so much. So Alexander's hired to kind of figure everything out and oversee the project. So he's a farm manager. He's not a farmer. He doesn't actually go out in the fields. But because he is a farm manager, he's an officer for the company. He has a house to stay in while he's here. So this is the house that's been provided for him, his wife, and their young daughter, Jessie.
Nice.
So this is the kitchen. Jessie's room is just behind Miss McIver in her corner. And then across the hallway, we have our parlor, which is kind of like a living room.
Okay.
Around that.
Just around that way, yeah.
Perfect.
And then there's a master bedroom.
Nice. And how long would it have taken them to build something like this?
This one, well, I guess it depends on how determined you are and how many people you've got.
Okay.
But usually the company, they've got a whole bunch of workers. It wouldn't take them long, a couple days.
Yeah.
If you're on your own, it's going to take you a little bit longer.
Right.
You probably don't have hordes of workers just at your beck and call.
Do they know the actual number of people that were working for the company at that point in time?
For this specific place, it's very seasonally dependent.
Okay.
So everything here depends on seasons, and a lot of our labor is what we call day laborers. So they would be people like me who are from the area, they're hired on for a period of 12 hours or for a specific task.
So would there have been any record of them working, or would it have been like cash work like we do now?
We don't have any cash, so there is record. The company is very meticulous about records.
Okay.
But like I said, it's heavily seasonally dependent, and it depends on the year, right?
Okay.
So how many furs you've got will determine how many people you need to load the boat.
Okay.
How many furs you get also determines how many boats go out.
And where were they bringing all the laborers in from? Not just from the surround, but from other places as well?
Yeah, so people would be hired onto the company, and they could be from really anywhere. A lot of folks are Métis,
Okay.
and they're working for the company. A lot of our officers are coming over from England or Scotland.
Okay, would they have been using any slaves at that point in time?
No.
No, none. Okay.
So the company has historically used slaves.
Okay.
At this point in the 1830s, it is abolished in Canada.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
by the 1850s, you're not allowed to do that. So we like the emancipation of slavery in Canada is technically 1834, and they sort of grandfather it out. But even then, most slaves would have been employed in domestic service, not in moving goods.
Okay.
But that's not to say they didn't do it. The
Right.
company
Well,
for
just
sure
because
did.
you can't do something doesn't mean people don't, right?
Yeah, it's illegal in both England and here. There's other places where it's not illegal, right? So technically in England, they abolished slavery in the 1790s, but they don't abolish it in any of their colonies, which is where they have the majority of their slaves anyways. So it's sort of a not real law.
Okay.
Not really a getting rid of anything.
Okay.
So like places like the Caribbean would still have slaves, and that's where our sugar is coming from, and
Right.
our indigo.
Okay. What's indigo?
Indigo is a dye.
Okay.
So, or like the U.S., right? The company is buying a lot of well, not the company, but England is buying a lot of their cotton that they're producing over there from the southern United States. So even though they're not directly having slaves, they're benefiting from that system.
Okay.
They're benefiting from the southern plantations when they buy that cotton. And then that gets produced, and then the company buys it and sells it as bolts of cloth here.
Some things never change.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking about other places in the world. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
the
interesting.
textile industry has a really dark history of
Sounds like it. Yeah.
of abusing people and
Think of Nike.
non-equitable pay.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, arguably, it's better in the 1800s than it is today, because now you've got fast fashion and factory workers, whereas in this time period, a lot of people are making their own clothes.
Everything was better quality. I think.
Not necessarily. So, like,
You don't
if you're wealthy and you can afford someone to make your clothes,
Yes.
yeah, they're going to be really great quality.
Okay.
If you're making your own clothes, a lot of times you can see like the stitching is really wide
Okay.
because people don't have time.
Right.
Right? You're just whipping on those sleeves as fast
So
as you
why
can.
didn't people in this time period have time to do things like that?
You've got other stuff to do.
Like what though?
Like if you're farming, you've got food to make, you've got fences to put up, you've got fences to take down, you've got animals to slaughter,
Yeah.
you've got 1,000 candles to make. So
So you're busy,
months.
right?
Yeah.
So I have questions about not just like the forts, but some of the cities that are starting out at this point in time. Think about all the masonry that was being done, all the work, all the quarrying of the stone, all the actual crafting of the stone, creating these huge cathedrals, all these buildings, all of these earlier time periods. And you would think people would be busy with all these other projects that they have to do. How is it possible that they were building all these things so quickly? And you would need a lot of people, and just to think at that time period there wouldn't have been as many people, right? It's
I
interesting.
mean, there's not as many people here. Like in cities, there's tons. Toronto exists. Montreal has a very high population. So does
do you
How
Quebec.
big was Winnipeg at this point?
Yeah.
There's no Winnipeg. It's the Red River Settlement. Winnipeg does not exist.
At all?
It's
Okay.
Upper Fort Garry.
Okay.
And so Upper Fort Garry is kind of the major settlement. So really most of the population is not focused towards downtown. It's actually focused towards where we'd have the forks. And part of the reason why downtown is not at the forks, because you think it would be given the evolution, is because the Hudson's Bay Company, when Winnipeg kind of starts out,
Okay.
because really Winnipeg gets its boots on when you get the railroad. And that's not for
What-
another 20 years.
What year was that in then?
1870s.
1870?
I'm not sure precisely when they laid the tracks, but
Okay.
it's decades away for us. And so the Hudson's Bay Company in the 1870s still owns Upper Fort Garry, and so people aren't actually allowed to build a downtown there. So that's why they build it just slightly off,
Okay.
is because that's where the Hudson's Bay Company territory line ended.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Great job.
Thanks! I'm a wealth of useless information.
It's not useless though. It's good. You gave us some
It's
good
useful
information.
for here. It's not useful anywhere else.
You'd be surprised. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no
Thank you very
worries,
much.
except maybe a bar.
Yeah.
You're like, fun fact.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
no worries.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
They're,
Washed in there somewhere.
they're saying it's like an ancient lake bed, and a lot of the limestone in this area has coral in it, and it doesn't really make sense. And what else did she say again?
A couple others.
Little details, but they're saying there's like fossils and coral embedded in limestone, even on this building as well. Okay, let's take a look at this. All right. Let's take a look at the ship, I guess. Yeah, nobody had time to do all that stuff, you know what I mean? They were still trying to farm and live, yeah. Spend time with their family, eat, cook.
Even my fucking friends that are fucking farmers, man.
They never stop.
Whatever crop they're in, like, they never fucking stop. And if they're farmers that farm animals,
Right.
then the job 24/7.
Yeah. So we go look at the ship. What we can get inside the little corner too. Yeah. I don't know, this all looks like a recreation to me. But the shape is there. Just seems like some of it's missing. Clonman York boat, transportation, fur trade. The 1800s, wilderness, undeveloped wilderness with few roads. Most efficient means was by water. Interesting. Could always find a job. They always had food and furs or whatever they needed, right? And even the lady said that, you know, they had a better life than we do now. Most jobs barely want to give you anything. And they act like they're doing you a favor by giving you the job. So you got to put up with their shit, right? So funny. Oh, from furs to pianos. What's that? Yeah.
That's a fucking man working those.
Imagine. Like, look at the, imagine it'd be like Popeye arms, the person fucking rowing that boat. Wow. Oh, fun. They turned the corner part into a bathroom. That's funny. Yeah, that's a funny way to do it. This is like the turret. Okay. Yeah, the bathroom turret. Yeah. They won't even let you really walk around the whole thing. Yeah, all these forts now just look like a setup to me. The way they have the wagons and the cannons, and yes, a lot of it's reenactment. I get that, but they're trying to make it look like how they want us to think it used to look like. You know what I mean? A lot of these things, like who knows what these grounds used to look like? Maybe they demolished it and.
Everything they're saying was told to them to say by someone.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How
Hi.
are you doing today?
Excellent, excellent.
Welcome to our sales shop. Sorry, there's a fly.
What do you need? Need some ammunition, some food, some sugar? I could use some sugar.
You could buy some sugar. In
Yeah.
fact, you could buy about a pound of sugar.
How much does a pound of sugar cost here?
A shilling.
A shilling?
Yeah, so roughly 1 day's work.
I was gonna say it's about a day's work, eh? Yeah.
It is,
British
yeah.
currency.
For my pound of sugar. Well, it might be worth it. What's the work? What do I got to do?
Depends what you're
I was
assigned.
gonna say depends on the time of year as well.
Okay.
But you know, moving fur bales from here to the warehouse, things like that.
Manual labor.
Yeah, manual labor is the primary thing that we're doing around here. So.
What would you say your biggest export or thing that you're selling in this store at this time?
Probably this.
What is that?
Davis painkiller.
Oh yeah,
Serves everybody. It's this magical formula. You'll notice it says vegetable on it, and that's
Okay.
because there is vegetable oil in it.
Is it addictive?
Yes, it's alcohol and opium.
Okay.
So it'll definitely kill your pain
Oh, yes.
by
Maybe
making
if
your
you-
whole body numb.
Brain cells along
Yeah,
the way.
probably.
Right. Is it expensive? How much does that cost?
Oh no, you can buy. I believe you can buy every This is a case of 24 little bottles.
24 bottles. How long would a bottle last?
You take one bottle per day. Roughly.
Per day, roughly. Wow. And the box itself, how much
The box itself, I believe, is about 2 pounds.
2 pounds?
So, 2 pounds.
Okay. How many shillings to make a pound?
20.
Okay.
About 40 shillings, but you can also buy a bottle for. What's the math on that?
Putting you to work.
It's like nearly
25 divided by. How many
By
bottles did you say?
24.
24 bottles divided
So about a
Labor or
shilling.
life never changes, eh?
Yeah. About a shilling
Do you-
or two for
Yeah, I wonder if they take the painkillers so they can work, or they work so they can take the painkillers.
a mix of both, probably.
Yeah, probably, right?
Yeah, this is the most commonly found artifact for the bottles from this.
Doesn't surprise me.
site.
It's funny how some things never change, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, and just everybody would be taking that.
It-
Upper class, lower class, doesn't matter.
It was a regular thing.
Was that your
Whatever
only
you're
form?
paying. Pardon?
Was it the only form of alcohol?
Well, it's the only form of painkiller.
Definitely
sold
not
out.
The only form of
Yeah, we
alcohol.
sold beer and whiskey and wine. And stuff.
Whiskey was the go-to liquor.
Yeah, whiskey and beer.
Okay,
Because
okay.
that was stuff we would distill and brew ourselves here at Lower Fork area. I
Nice.
don't know if you saw the little boardwalk.
Didn't get there yet.
It was right at the beginning.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
It's along the creek. There used to be an industrial complex
Okay.
with a brewery and distillery.
Nice.
So they'd make their own beer and whiskey here.
Okay.
And then have some fancier things imported from London as well for the upper
Nice,
class folks.
nice.
But yeah, you can. In my opinion, the best deal on this little list here of things you can buy with a day's labor is a gallon of beer.
Okay. How much would a loaf of bread been?
You're making your own.
You're making your own.
Yeah, these
No
are
one's
only-
no one's trading, or one person baking like specific trades or jobs.
So this store is specifically for things you can't really do
Yourself?
make or grow yourself
Okay,
in
okay,
this area.
okay.
So things like sugar, eggs were things that we did sell as well, just because.
So mostly just imported items.
Yes.
Okay,
For
perfect.
the most part, things like the beer and things like eggs aren't really being imported,
Okay.
but they are needed and wanted by people in this area.
Okay.
Quite commonly.
Okay. And were they manufacturing their own weapons, or everything was being brought
Everything's
in?
being brought in.
Okay. So how much would a firearm been at this
So
time?
the flintlock above there is 3 pounds.
Okay.
And then the percussion cap behind me here is 5 pounds.
Okay. So you'd have to do some saving for some of these items.
Your average farming family makes about 5 pounds in a year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But
So
they're also most likely not the people who are
Yeah.
buying.
So it would have been companies probably buying things like these and giving them to whoever needed them, sort of thing. Because how would the average person been able to afford that sort of thing?
Nobody would be buying that. If you're going to be hunting for animals, you're mostly going to be doing trapping,
Okay.
which is cheaper because that's just the gun. That's not even your ammunition and your shot as well.
Okay.
which
Yeah.
costs money.
Exactly.
So most of the time, the people buying these would be hunting for sport. So people living in the big house offices of the company, making hundreds, if not thousands, of pounds a year.
Wow. Okay.
Versus if you're kind of more average person, could buy a metal trap for a few shillings.
Okay.
That's going to get you a lot more money. Plus, you're not going to damage the fur when you're trapping that, and then you're able to trade that fur in and use that meat and everything.
I guess you got to grind and hustle, work your way up.
Yes.
Yeah. It's funny. All right. I'm just trying to think of anything else. What about tobacco at the time?
So that you can grow yourself here.
People were growing tobacco here in Manitoba.
People were growing tobacco. You'd also, we don't have any, but clay pipes were things that were bought here. quite
Okay.
commonly.
Okay.
You can buy a dozen for a shilling. So.
Nice. Any random foods that would have been brought in on a regular basis that people would have been wanting or
Things
wanting
like
to buy?
spices. So cinnamon, we have some coffee, pepper, sugar would be a big one that a lot of people would be buying.
Okay. Sugar's like one of the biggest exports, I guess.
Exactly.
Tea
Okay.
as well.
How much would that business been valuated at that time, do you think?
What do you mean?
Like how much would have the sugar industry been worth around that time, do you think? Is there a comparison?
It's really hard to compare because it's not as much an industry as it is the triangle trade, right? So
Okay.
it's a lot of using slave labor,
Yes.
which is, it's hard to put it value on that.
Right.
So like.
Imagine if they
It's a-
actually
it's
had
a
to pay
massive-
everyone what they're supposed to.
And with all
Exactly.
the sugar coming from
It
overseas.
was coming mostly from Southern America and then the Caribbean.
Okay. Okay.
So it would go to London first so they could tax it. Plus, overseas travel is faster than even going by land. So even
Okay.
something coming from like New York in the 1850s, it takes longer to get from New York to here than it would to get from London to here.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
So, plus, we're a British company. Everything's got
Okay.
Everything we have is coming to us through London.
Okay. And what did the blacksmith? Would he have been building any type of stoves or anything, or would that all been
Just
imported as
fixing
well?
things, yeah.
Okay.
So
More like a handyman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
okay.
Exactly. So the building across the way on the second floor, there's actually a disassembled stove that
Okay.
kind of shows you how it would have been shipped. It's just the pieces on top of
Oh,
each other.
perfect. Perfect.
But yeah, very very heavy.
Yeah.
Because it's solid steel. So
Or iron in some cases, right?
yeah.
Yes. Perfect.
So,
So back in these days, would you guys be having glass windows too, or no?
Yeah. Yep. So we had, if you'll notice, looking at all the original buildings on site, like the big house is the easiest example I can point out right here.
Yes. Exactly.
All the window panes are the exact same size. So they'd have one set of window glass shipped over, and that was the only size they would get because it's much easier to replace smaller pieces that are easy to ship across. Like we have the little box right there,
Okay.
the window glass.
Right.
Less likely to break than having one massive glass pane, because that's another thing that's coming from Europe. But it also has
So they were shipping all the glass over,
yes.
and it was wow.
Yeah, and it was a one size fit all. So every single original building, as you walk around, like big house, the warehouse, the men's house, all the window glass panes are exactly the same size.
Okay. Imagine how much damage there would be from one port to another. It's interesting to think
So
about.
is this structure recreated, or is
This
this?
is an original building. All the stone buildings within the walls themselves are original.
Our original.
The
Okay.
only not original building is the one right next door, that green and white. That's
Like all this wood in here is all.
The original
put in
timber.
from what year?
This would be from the late 1830s.
Okay.
So,
What did they do to preserve the wood? Like linseed oil or something like that?
yeah, linseed oil would be a common thing used for a lot of painting, especially with the Red River Ox cards.
Okay.
But we aren't sure the exact use because a country club rented this site for about 50 years in the early 1900s,
Okay.
and they were a big reason why this was preserved the way it has.
When you say country club, do you mean like a golf course?
Essentially, it was a bunch of rich folks from Winnipeg who owned cars,
Okay.
which in the early 1900s is a very, very hot commodity
Okay.
because cars are just coming to this area in the world.
Right.
So they're these rich folks that just kind of wanted a weekend getaway. There was a 9-hole
Okay.
golf course
Because
just outside the fort walls.
Because I visited a few forts in Ontario as well, and they were on golf courses. So it seems to be a common trend that forts are built, or golf courses are built around these forts. So I find that funny and strange at the same time.
No golf course anymore here.
No.
But yeah, they did have one.
Still interesting though that's a common theme or trend that you see around, right?
Well,
Well, so
and
much
anywhere
room.
that there's big open green space,
Yes.
people like to
Green
start
space.
golf courses.
Makes you wonder what might have been there before, and what I'm curious what this site would have looked like when they originally found it.
Well, even with there's some pictures within the warehouse on the second floor with showing the country club era,
Okay.
and you can just see all the greenery and everything that they added.
Okay.
That's really not typically historically accurate. More of what we have now is more accurate to the time period because it's
Perfect.
a tall grass prairie kind of area.
Okay.
So not the same type of grass we have here, but pretty similar to some extent, just a little more probably wild than most folks are used to these days.
Okay. Right on. Was there anything else pertinent information that you could share?
No, I mean this is just a room full of stuff essentially. So,
Okay.
Um,
Where do you guys get all of this from for this particular place? Is everything from the area original?
So a
How much
lot
is
of things are
recreations?
recreations.
Okay.
Artifacts also come not only from this site but from other places from the similar time period.
Okay.
So we have what's called tier 1 artifacts that are from the location from the time
So
period.
it's set in tiers. So how many tiers
Yeah.
are there?
I believe there's 5.
And
So
that's like,
there's-
what is there a name for the types of the five historical tiers of recreating or some?
Not
What?
that I'm
Okay,
aware of.
okay. I'm
No,
just
it's
curious.
for records
Okay,
more than anything, I
right on.
think. But yeah, we don't have a whole lot of tier 1 artifacts here on this site just because they are rare and difficult to have a complete piece.
Really? So it's a rare thing for them to have original artifacts even in the area.
Well, original artifacts from this site specifically.
Specifically, okay, these different
So,
sites. Okay.
I know the most about the warehouse. So there's 4 in there. There's a rope kind of measuring system. There's a plow. There's a fishnet, and then the smut machine. you'll see when you first enter the building is this weird contraption. It's just a big fan, essentially, that blue mold off of cereal grain.
Okay.
But those were all original to the site and original to the time period as well. So.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you very much. I'm just going to take a couple pictures. Very cool. I like that. Thank you. Have a good day, guys. What's that?
It's cool coming with you. I'd never be asking these types of questions.
No, I'm curious. I want to know what their answers are going to be. I'm also testing them. But some of the answers they're giving really says a lot. So they say this is all original? Yeah? I don't know. Let's see. Oh, look at this. Pardon? Right? Oh, different kinds of furs. Nice. Oh, that's nice. I don't know what each one is, but I wonder if they're real or not. It's like a few different animals. Regalia.
My Métis heritage is involved with all this.
Yours?
Yeah.
Interesting. Why is this like this? Yeah. Weird. Alrighty. Alright. Let's see what building this is. Oh, it looks like a school. Work and eat and sleep. That's all they were doing. Pretty much. Seems like when people start talking about slaves and stuff, they get really uncomfortable. I'm sure they wonder what kind of questions are going to come, but like nothing ever changes.
I'm
There's
surprised she knew so much about slaves.
yeah. Roman Catholics. Everybody hates slaves. Yeah, everybody dislikes them. Is that the church we were at? Is that St. Andrew?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Interesting. I still want to know what this place used to look like. It said it's all the buildings are original. This is the original schoolhouse. Or, wait, no, it's not a schoolhouse. This is probably like waiting room, something. Where they come to get paid. I don't know.
Their lunchroom, maybe just a circuit day.
Love to live in a little stone cabin type deal. Yeah. Flour or flowers?
Well, you'd be grinding your seed.
Yeah. Look at the lantern. Yeah, this is cool.
This must have been like the bakery.
Oh, the bakery? Oh, is that hardtack? Is that real? Yeah, I think it's real. They have stuff from the war that, yeah, hardtack. It is hardtack. So they would have eaten a pound of this biscuit every day. Yeah, and you can probably, yeah, it's just made from flour, water, and a pinch of salt. Cook 3 times. They have hardtack that's like 100 years old that's still edible. That's like the ultimate survival food. I'd probably add some stuff to it to make it more nutritious, but hardtack is the ultimate survival. Here, I'm gonna take a picture of that. You never know, because I mean, you collect some, make some flour. How hard is it after that? Bannock? I got invited to go have some bannock somewhere in Saskatchewan. But yeah, hardtack. Like I could probably soften this right now with water and eat it. What? Doctor's office. Some forceps. How come the drugs aren't in here? They're at the trade shop. You can get your opium and your alcohol. I bet you some of that stuff is probably pretty
They
bad.
just write you the prescription here.
Yeah.
And your insurance covers it.
Oh, I see. I wonder what the rates were like back then. I wonder if the Hudson's Bay Company was unionized. That'd be fun.
Like the unions were starting in World War I, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever watch
Oh, crushed sugar. I want a little barrel of something. Oh, that's not for me.
Peaky Blinders?
Okay, yeah.
That was all set in like right after World War I.
Cordage. Wonder if they were making it with hemp. They didn't seem to know. I want to know what the oh. Anybody want a box of vegetable painkillers? Snowshoes and brooms? Do you think they mind if I take a fur with me? Stay warm. What's this? Oh, look at all the furs. (1913 and 1962). Interesting. So soft. Look at all these. Are these real or fake? Here. Can you take this for a sec, please? It's a black bear. So how would they have worn that? Or would it have just been a rug? Take out my buddy. How old do you think he is?
Wow, I figure these ones are like older.
Black bear. There's no dates.
Beaver pelts.
I want a black bear rug. Or a brown bear coat. What is this? This
Beaver
looks like
pelt.
a toilet seat cover.
Yeah, but it's beaver pelt.
Yeah, but it looks like a big toilet seat cover. It's funny. See, these are amazing. I want to have some. What do those look like? What do you think those were? These little tiny ones.
Oh.
These look like shoes. They like slip-ons? Or hand warmers? Pretty much do anything. I feel how soft that is. Ferrets? I don't know, there's so many of them. There they. Oh yeah, that would make sense. Oh yeah, beaver. No, it's beavers without their tails. Look at the shape of them. You can see his little.
Like the gopher from Caddyshack.
Yeah, Caddyshack. Yeah, exactly. Look at these. Oh wow, this is even softer. That's like a mink.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Badger.
Yeah, badger. Oh wow.
Here's Link.
Oh, yeah, and this is coyote. Oh, look at that. That is so soft. They must condition them or something to make them like that. What is this?
Boy, man, if PETA came here, they would have a fucking heart attack.
Yeah.
30.
That's interesting.
There's the soft.
Wow. The coyote. Oh, his ears. So soft. The lynx. Think about all the animals they got out of here. they're like, this is a gold mine, and they're just killing everything. I'm sure the people here really enjoyed that. They thought they were just coming for peace, but they just wanted all the furs. That's what it was all about, right? And what is this, a bison? Oh, it's like coarse.
Yeah, everybody.
That'd be a good rug. Imagine that on your feet. Man, you'd be so warm. Oh, look, little tiny fuckers. A painting that looks like rock. That's so funny. The guards, the supposed guards. This is their makeshift jail. That's funny. Look at this building here. What is that? Warden Bedson? Was that an old prison? What's he the warden of? Oh, from the asylum. That's the building they destroyed we were looking at today. Or wanting to look at, but they destroyed it. See the asylum building? Oh, look at that. This guy. The warden of the asylum. Wow. Interesting.
Fucking creepy fucking looking guy.
Yeah. Right. That's a lot of furs, though. Oh, look, a skunk. Oh, nice.
Eat a few.
Yeah, look at that. So many furs. They're so soft. There's a, oh, we can't go up any further?
I think that was the problem. We're 420 already.
Yeah. That's a weird. Guess that's like a wheelchair access or something. Guess we can't go in there. Oh. Looks like it's under construction. That's all right. Cool.